Welcome back to Inside Outer Cape. I'm Laura Potenza.
And I'm Nick Butero.
And today we want to talk about something foundational.
Yes. Why is Provincetown real estate the way it is? Why does it behave differently than other markets? Why do the prices look the way they look? And why, despite all of that, people keep buying here and have historically been very glad they did?
This is the episode that we probably should have made first. Well, better late than never.
You contain multitudes. We get to things when we get to them.
Yes. Okay. So let's start at the most basic level, supply. The reason Provincetown real estate is scarce is because Provincetown itself is scarce.
Yes. The town sits, as most people know, it sits at the very tip of Cape Cod, surrounded on three sides by the Cape Cod National Seashore. And that land is federally protected. It is not being developed ever, which means the footprint of this town is essentially what it is and what it will always be.
Right. And within that footprint, Provincetown is already remarkably dense. It's a small town, about 3,000 year-round residents, but it's packed. Homes are close together, lots are small, the streets are narrow. There is very little vacant land standing around waiting to become something.
Yeah, and even when there are opportunities, the town has been deliberate about managing growth, particularly around water. Provincetown relies on a sole source aquifer. That's the only source of fresh water we have. It is not limitless. And the town's very conscious of how much development can support sustainably, and that consciousness shows up in the permitting process.
So when you add it all up, protected land on the perimeter, a dense existing footprint, small lots, historic district constraints, and genuine water supply limitations, you get a housing stock that's essentially fixed. You cannot meaningfully increase the supply of properties here.
And fixed supply, as we will say approximately 40 more times in this episode, is a very powerful thing in real estate.
Well, I hope we say it fewer times than that.
Okay, fewer, but meaningfully.
So now let's talk about the demand side. And to understand why demand for Provincetown is so strong and so consistent, you have to understand what the place actually is.
Yeah. So Provincetown is not a quiet beach town where you go to sit on a porch and watch the fog roll in. I mean, you can do that.
You can do that.
The fog is excellent and beautiful, but that is not the whole story.
Right. Within roughly 1.5 miles of walkable town, you have world-class restaurants, bars, clubs, live entertainment venues, art galleries, including PAM, the Provincetown Art Association and Museum, which has been here since 1914.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Retail shops, excursion businesses, whale watches, kayak tours, sailing trips, fishing charters.
Hotels, guest houses, bed and breakfasts, inn, many of them exceptional. A theater scene that punches well above its weight for a town this size.
Woo-hoo.
A drag show tradition that is frankly a civic institution at this point.
And it's all walkable. So you park your car or you arrive on the ferry from Boston and you don't need it again until you leave. Everything is accessible on foot, by bike, by scooter, by pedicab, by water taxi.
And that's not a small thing. Most of us spend the majority of our lives moving through the world inside a car, going from one parking lot to another. Provincetown offers a genuinely different experience of being somewhere. You are in the place, not passing through it.
And that experience is part of what people are buying when they buy here. They're not just buying square footage, they're buying access to a way of living that most American towns just simply don't offer.
That's absolutely true. And here's something that tells you a lot about this market. On a sunny day in the summer, Provincetown is busy, beautifully, chaotically busy.
Yes, but on a cloudy day in the summer, Provincetown is also busy, sometimes busier, because people from Chatham, from Dennis, from Falmouth, from Sandwich look at the overcast sky and think, well, the beach isn't happening today. Let's go to P-Town.
Yep. We are the rainy day plan for the entire Cape, which is not an insult.
No.
It is a structural demand advantage that few destinations have.
And that is consistent foot traffic, sunny days, cloudy days, Peak season, shoulder season is part of what makes the short-term rental market here so strong. Peak summer weeks in Provincetown are booked months in advance. There are not enough rentals to meet demand in high season. Not enough.
Which drives the rental rates up. And it makes owning an income-producing property here a compelling proposition. It drives property values up, which is the whole cycle explained in 3 sentences.
It's actually a very efficient market once you understand the inputs.
It is, and the inputs are just everyone wants to be here, and there's nowhere near enough room.
Right. Okay. So you have a fixed supply, extraordinary density of activity, consistent and diverse demand, a strong rental market, and an experience of place that people are genuinely willing to pay a premium for. What does that produce over time?
A market that behaves unlike almost anywhere else in the country, and we can show you this concretely.
When the broader market is strong, Provincetown appreciates faster than comparable markets, including the rest of Cape Cod. The gap between Provincetown price appreciation and Barnstable County as a whole has widened significantly over the past 2 decades.
Right, and when the broader market weakens, this is the part that people really need to hear. Provincetown doesn't fall the way other markets fall.
Right. The 2008 housing crisis is the clearest example. The rest of Cape Cod took a significant hit. Values dropped substantially, and in many areas, it took nearly 10 years to recover to pre-crisis levels.
Right, and Provincetown dipped meaningfully. We're not pretending otherwise, but the dip was 10%, and it lasted about 1.5 years. And then the market stabilized and just kept going up.
10% for 18 months versus a decade-long recovery elsewhere. And that's not a small difference. That is the difference between a market built on fundamentals and a market built on momentum.
And Provincetown's fundamentals don't go away in a downturn. The land is still scarce. The National Seashore is still there. The aquifer is still finite. The restaurants are still excellent, and people still want to be here. Nothing about that changes because interest rates went up or the national economy had a rough year.
So yes, property values here look high compared to a lot of places. That premium is real and it's not going away. But what you're getting, for that premium is a market that has historically been one of the most stable places to put real estate dollars in the entire Northeast.
Yeah, what you're paying for is the floor, not the ceiling. The floor in Provincetown is very high, and it tends to hold.
Yeah, so that's the case for Provincetown real estate. Not a sales pitch, but as a market analysis. Fixed supply, exceptional demand, a one-of-a-kind destination experience, and a track record of stability that very few markets can match.
So if you're trying to decide whether this market makes sense for your situation as a primary home, a second home, or as an investment, we're always happy to walk you through the specifics. The general case is what we just made. The specific case depends on you.
Right. So reach out to us directly. Drop your questions in the comment or check the links in the description for the market data and resources. And subscribe if you haven't. We put a lot into these.
That we do. A lot. So like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
We'll see you in the next slide. Bye.